And speaking of those Lakers, Dave, we're going to talk about them. And the Lakers, after getting LeBron, have not been what we thought they would be. They started out 0-3.
Aren't they what we thought they'd be?
They are who we thought they were. Not me, because I went on a hot take and said they were going to be in the Western Conference Finals.
Yeah.
Could still happen.
So Sean and I
could
mostly
still happen.
in line.
There's a long season ahead. But they are 3-5 entering today. They will play tonight as we're recording this. So they'll either be 4-6 or 4-5 or 3-6. I'm going to be blatant with you and just ask you. Magic Johnson has talked to Luke Walton, had a chat with him. Mm-hmm. Many think that Luke Walton's on the hot seat, so I'm going to ask you, should Luke Walton be fired by the Lakers this year if things do not change with this team?
Absolutely not. There's no reason to get rid of Luke Walton right now. Look, you brought in Luke Walton because he was the, let's put it nicely, the real coach of the Warriors team when when Steve Kerr was out with his multiple back surgeries. Mm-hmm. So, look, he's coached egos. He's coached the top players in the league. He knew how to run a very successful system, and he seemed competent as far as managing lineups. Now, the scariest thing right now, and one of the harshest criticisms we're hearing, is that he is terrible at managing lineups. He is, I think, the second most lineups in the league behind the Atlanta Hawks, which should tell you something right there. Yeah. But no, this is not time to pull the ripcord on someone. He is a competent coach. I know he's still young, but I think that let him run with this team. Let him find the groove. Like, look, this is a 4-year deal with LeBron James. Don't pull him out of there early. Let him figure out what works with LeBron, build a system around LeBron James, and figure out which one of these young pieces is going to be the best fit, and figure out which ones are going to be movable.
Well, and that's what I think. And a lot of people were thinking, he could be fired because LeBron, in a press game with reporters around him, they asked him about his patience. And LeBron made the comment of, you don't want to be around me when my patience runs thin.
What are you like when you run out of patience?
Exactly.
And it's like, you don't want to know.
Reporters spin that and take it however they want. But the thing that I think is the reason why people spun it that way is look at Cleveland. LeBron, patience run thin, coach get gone. Like, that is what it was.
Coach get gone.
Coach get gone. He fired. Like, get out the door. He not here no more. We win championship. Like, that is basically Cleveland. I'm sorry, but, like, that's what your owner...
This week is a rough week for you, Cleveland.
That is just how I think your owner, Gilbert, thinks in his head.
Yeah.
Because I don't respect the man at all. But, I mean, with the Lakers, I feel like with Magic Johnson, if he's thinking... Because I don't know what Magic's thinking. If he's literally thinking about firing Luke Walton, he's a hypocrite. Yeah. Because when he signed LeBron James, when they got that, he said, we know this is going to be a process. They said they knew it, unless they were telling us lies. They said they understood that this is not going to be an instant thing, that they need to develop this team. They need to get the right pieces around LeBron. And for me, that patience line that LeBron kind of read off or set off, to me, that wasn't targeted at Luke Walton.
Right.
That was targeted at the other players. That was targeted at the young guys. Agree. They were targeted at all the guys with the 1-year contracts. Basically, Lance Stevenson, Rajon Rondo, be easy. You're on auditions.
KCP.
Do you stay around this year? And for the young guys, do you want to stay around this year? Because guess what? You will be traded. Like LeBron is basically saying, you will be traded if you basically ball up, or we're going to get you out of here, and we're going to get pieces for you. Exactly. And that's what it's going to be. That's what I was seeing it as. Mainly, and when people say, that was a direct shot at Lonzo, it wasn't a direct shot at Lonzo, but he wasn't excluding Lonzo. That's what I believe. Because Lonzo's supposed to be a top player on this team.
It's a seemingly realistic take, Ricky. I like it. I like that you're getting serious about this, because this was the Lakers team that you had very high hopes for.
Hey man, when I put you on the pedestal, you better live up to that pedestal.
And they're not.
I put you there.
But to be fair, this is a team that's played some teams that are doing pretty good,
and they've been close. Like the Spurs game, close.
Yeah, they took that to OT.
That Portland game, it was 128-119. It was close up until like the waning moments of that game. Like they have been in games.
Yep.
They've just lost some close games. Minnesota, San Antonio twice, and then also that Portland game.
Yeah. So I mean, look, they've got a couple easy ones coming up. Obviously, with the Atlanta Hawks, the Orlando Magic, in the next couple of weeks. So look, I think they're about a 500 team. Like, wins and losses will come here and there, but I think this team realistically is a 500 team. I don't think that the problem here is Luke Walton. I think Luke Walton, yes, he needs to figure out what's going to happen in these rotations, because that's, to me, that's the big thing. It's like, once someone mentioned, I think I heard on the jump, it was the rotation number was second only to the Atlanta Hawks. I was like, there is something desperately wrong. And I know there was this situation with the suspensions.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's going to force your hand on some things. And the problem is that what we're seeing out of this team makeup right now is that Lonzo doesn't play very well off ball with Rondo in the game. Rondo has played better than him, but at the same time, like, Lonzo had that one game on Rondo's suspension where he looked great, and then when Rondo came back, even though they weren't playing together too much, he looked like a shell again. It was just like, ooh, this, I don't know if they're going to be able to coexist. Like, we all thought great mentor.
It's one or the other.
We all thought great mentor, and I'm starting to get a little worried about that, because Lonzo is he's hot and then he's cold. He's not consistent. And again, he's a young player. That's totally, within the expectation, but this is a LeBron James team. This is a Lakers team with a lot of pressure on them.
Well, and LeBron
rightfully
James
or
closer
wrongfully
to
so.
the end than he is the beginning. Like,
I don't know. He's Benjamin Buttoning this shit. He can play till 44.
I mean, but he's closer to retiring than he is to being drafted.
I think he's mid-prime. I think he's mid-prime.
Mid-prime.
I think he's mid-prime.
Plays until he's 100.
No, I think he's playing until he's 40-something.
Okay.
Easily.
Well, he's got to play with Bronny.
Yeah, exactly. He's playing until 40. So we'll see after that. But I just think that's the thing that scares to me is Luke Walton can't figure out what lineup works best for this team. He has no consistent success. No one's able to be a guy he can count on night in and night out. I think that we've seen flashes out of Lance Stevenson. We've seen flashes out of Brandon Ingram. We've seen the comments about Brandon Ingram being a bench player.
But what about JaVale McGee?
JaVale McGee is the MVP of this team.
I know, right?
Best guy on the team this year.
Were you expecting that on JaVale McGee? Because I wasn't.
I was not. I was not. I think we clowned around about him being like one of the worst centers in the league.
And we also were going to draft him on our fantasy team, but we didn't.
Yeah,
we didn't. I was like, man, we should have done that.
We done messed up there. JaVale McGee is actually the real deal, and when he's out there playing like 30 minutes a night now. They've that unofficial minutes restriction of JaVale can only play like 20 minutes a night. Nah, that's gone. Turns out we don't have an actual center.
Like a 15.
You just force him out there.
7.5, and then 3 blocks per game.
Incredible. He's doing a great job down there, but. It comes back to okay, so why the hatred for Luke Walton at this point? Yes, they've struggled, but do you think that these struggles are on Luke Walton entirely?
No, I don't. And the thing that I want to mention about your rotational thing is think back to when he was with the Warriors.
Yeah.
There was easy mode. He didn't have to think about rotations because you put Steph here, you put Clay here, you put him. Like, that team was just plug and play and then let him go.
I don't know.
Like, in this team, it's much of like, all right.
Andre Iguodala off the bench during year 1 is very controversial.
But I'm saying, like, when you look at
year 2 and 3, obviously it was less so, but still, knowing when to put in Livingston, knowing when to bring in Iguodala, how to balance that team out with the veterans and the younger kids. But with this, he's not dealing with just that here. Yeah.
He's basically dealing with, all right, I've got LeBron here. Now what do I do? Like, what works for this team?
Yeah.
Like,
you're looking at that team, you just slap LeBron's name up there, and you're like, all right.
What players do I start with? Who play? Like, you're mentioning the whole Lonzo doesn't play well here. What's going on there? And, like, I feel like this year is going to be them. The reason why he has so many lineups is he's trying to figure out combinations and what's going to go on. Because the big thing that this team is going to have to figure out is, okay, are these young players going to help us? Like, if these young players, like I'm talking Lonzo, talking BI, if they're going to help us win after LeBron's contract, they're useless to us. They need to help us during this contract.
Yeah.
And if they can't, we gotta then start thinking, are they tradable? And what are we going to ask for
they're
them?
highly tradable.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, what then are we going to get
assets
for them?
Yeah.
Kind of a thing, and start thinking of trading. And that's why I feel like we're getting all these kind of rotations. 'Cause it's figuring out what's working on this team, because the only constant right now, it seems, is Lonzo and JaVale.
I would not call Lonzo a constant.
I mean LeBron and JaVale. I said Lonzo, I meant LeBron. Yeah. LeBron and JaVale.
All right. I think that's fair. I mean,
because I was going casual and you said I would not Lonzo, and in my head I'm like, oh shit, I said Lonzo. I meant LeBron and JaVale.
That's totally fine. I have to agree with you. There's just a lot of struggle. I think the thing that doesn't help is when your best player isn't playing defense either. LeBron James has not played a fucking lick of defense right now. There is.
Do you think he had? Are you calling him out? He has to play some defense.
Yes, you have to put in some level. You have to put in some level of defense out there. Like there are just plays where he actively is taking them off, and that was cool in the East when you had a veteran-heavy roster, and you had depth on that team. Now, in the West, when you're playing against high-tempo teams, and your whole thing is you're a high-tempo team. I called that shit. I told you this was a team that's going to run the floor. They're going to work in the break. They're going to be excellent in transition.
Because that's what Luke Walton wants to do.
Well, that's what I told them they should do, and that's why they listen to me. The problem is when they stop listening to me, they don't play defense.
Here's the thing that I want to ask you what that is.
Yeah.
Do you think this is also a learning curve for LeBron? Hey, what worked in the East will not work here. Like,
you're facing different people.
Not that LeBron didn't know that, but like, okay, maybe I do have to help out a little bit more on defense because this is the West, not the East.
I think there's a lot to be said about the difference in conferences. Number one is LeBron's used to playing the same head coaches for his entire career. He knows the head coaches in the East. He knows how they play. He knows how they use their players, and he knows the systems.
Half the time, he knows their calls.
I believe Rondo's the only player I know who has done that. I'm just going to toss out there again, Rondo for my Coach of the Year award. But no, there is a lot of comfort and a lot of safety in that in LeBron in the East. So now that he's in the West, he's learning new coaches, new systems, new matchups, and that's a lot to ask of him in a very short time span. And look, he's LeBron James. He's the best player right now, no questions asked. But there's still an adjustment period needed for him. He's still playing great on offense, but defensively, he's not able to cut lanes like he usually is. He's not able to make switches. Like they are off on communication. Like there's just some things that he took for granted playing with a vet-heavy team in Cleveland that he does not have right now in
Well, because, I mean,
LA.
we give JR so much shit for his finals blunder, but he was still a veteran that LeBron didn't have to worry about, oh, hey, where's JR?
Yeah.
JR knows what to do. Okay,
exactly. George Hill knows what he's doing.
Rodney Hood. Like, I don't
Kevin
need to
Love,
baby these
same
guys.
thing. Like, they all knew where to go, what to do on switches, how to play them. And this is a team where he feels like, I believe he feels like he still has to coach them up into, you have to talk, you have to communicate, you have to move, you have to make these on-the-floor switches. And it's not happening yet. I don't think that they should be freaking out and firing Luke Walton. But I think if they hit a certain line in the sand, it might be time to start thinking about it.
Well, and the interesting thing to me is out of their next, I'm going to say, let's go, same thing we did for the Kings. Just November in general. Like, it starts off where, you get Toronto, that'll be interesting.
Yep.
But, like, and then you get the Kings, that'll be interesting because that'll be our first,
we'll see
are the Kings for real.
Well.
Or are the Lakers for like that's an interesting on both sides. Which team kind of uses
the
that?
Kings are
going
to be playing some real teams,
and I mean it's in
sooner,
and it's in Sacramento that game.
That'd be great.
But like you look at some of them, Portland, you've already done that. Like you played it close. Probably could have won that game. Let's see what you do the second time. Minnesota, you lost to them close. You played them in Minnesota. Now you get them at home. Let's see what you do. Atlanta should be an easier team. You get Portland again for the third time. Orlando, an easier team. Like 3 road games, but you go Orlando, Miami, Cleveland.
Yeah.
Those should be easy games. Cleveland
Miami is a toss-up. They play everybody tough.
They play tough, but I feel like it's going to be a close one to where it could be winnable to the Lakers.
100%.
And then the 21st, where we've got his homecoming. This will be the first game that he plays in Cleveland in a Laker jersey.
Yeah,
so
pretty
there'll
great.
be some emotions around that one. We'll see if LeBron
should be able to win that
to the win there. And then they close out in November. The Jazz, Nuggets, Pacers should be tough. Mavericks will be tough. But then you got teams like Orlando and then Phoenix, which could be very winnable. So there's some games just in this month that are very winnable. And some of them could be teams that are better teams right now.
Screams like a 500 team to me. That's
Dave's like, just what have I been saying, Ricky?
Just try and bring the expectations down to reality. This is a 500 team until they figure out what they're doing. They can win off sheer talent because they do have LeBron James. Brandon Ingram can win an individual game here and there. Rondo is a constant support out there. And had he not, shot a loogie at Chris Paul, I'm just saying. He is there, he's a consistent presence on that team and a great impact. The problem is obviously like him working together with people like Lonzo, toss in the air. But Kyle Kuzma loves him. He's like his little brother. It's awesome.
Two things I want to ask you. First, Tyson Chandler, who was bought out by the Suns, plans to sign with the Lakers. What do you think? Is that going to help them?
Yeah, it's a smart signing.
Is this another LeBron, like, hey, let's bring in a veteran?
Yeah, 100%. Okay. This is, you need a body because Zubac can't play center for you at your pace. Like, he's just too slow. Tyson Chandler is in excellent condition. He's always been in great condition his entire career. So, no, he'll be able to come in, give you some minutes, make sure JaVale doesn't, like, overextend himself now that he's been, like...
Playing, like, 27 a night, like, average. That's what he's averaging.
That's higher than his career average by quite a bit. So, you want to make sure you don't burn him out mid-season. So, no, I think it's a great pickup.
And then the last thing I want to do is, so if they do move pieces...
Yep.
Do you see any of this young talent not working out for the Lakers to where, not this year, at the end of year one, they go, all right, we were this, we didn't make the playoffs, we got to move something. We got to make changes. Do we see that kind of a movement at the end of this year?
I think you got to look at BI and Kuzma and say, what's their value out there? Like, I know this is a wing-heavy thing, and having Brandon Ingram, LeBron James out there, and Josh Hart, like those, and even say Lonzo Ball, like those four guys can guard 1 through 4, and I'm not worried about anything. The problem is you know, JaVale McGee at the 5, and then as soon as you hit bench, it's like, okay, well, Kyle Kuzma doesn't play much defense. Like, he's trying harder, but he's still not very good at it. And then you got Stevenson's an annoyance. Rondo plays up for the playoffs, and even the regular season every once in a while. So, like, on paper, you should be good, but I think Kuzma seems to me like the guy who's going to be the man out. Yes, he is bench scoring, and right now he's taking like the most shots out there at any given night. It feels like he's getting a lot of looks, but I think he's the guy who might be the odd man out. BI, just his combination of length and speed and ball handling, I feel like the shot's gonna level out at some point. I mean, he was a good shooter last year, but he can be a better one. He can be a much better one. That's why I wouldn't move him. Wouldn't move Lonzo because you need a point guard who can spread the floor beyond the 3.
And
he's
like
getting
you
better.
said, at this point, it would be
Rondo's a 1-year rental.
Let's get him out of here at the end of the year. Keep Lonzo.
Yeah, Rondo's a 1-year rental. You get him in there to be the locker room presence. You get him in there to teach these kids how to play basketball. And if we get to the playoffs, he's a contributor. Like, he knows how to play. He's a professional. So, I don't know. I think I think Kuzma's, to me, the odd man out. Like, I value Hart more than him. I value BI more than him. Lonzo's the other one who I'm on the fence about because I don't love Lonzo Ball, but what he can do is undeniable. Well, and just he's not consistent about it, so you can't put him out there on nights when he's just useless beyond the arc.
And the thing that's going to be interesting, too, is I'm going to say this. A, it's early. A, it's early. B, it's the West. And the reason why I say that is the Lakers are technically 3 games out of being the 3rd seed. They win 3. Like, Portland's 2 games back. The Lakers are 5 games back. And there are 3 teams ahead of the Lakers outside of the playoffs. So, like, that's how close everything is right now. But especially the West, things are usually really close.
Yep.
I am even though they can still get to 3, and my hot take can be true, I'm tempering my expectation even of, like you said, 500 team at best. Well, could probably miss the playoffs.
At best now,
I'm thinking
from 3 seed to 500 team at best.
Realistically, 8 seed is like 7-8 seed is what I'm thinking right now.
500 gets you to the 8th seed?
Maybe, probably not.
This West is chewing each other up, but that's
exactly. Well, right now, 500 is the 8th seed.
Yeah, I know.
So I mean,
we're on game 10.
Exactly. Right? It's still early.
Yeah,
but like Laker fans, don't be shocked if you don't make the playoffs this year. Maybe temper expectations lower.
Yep.
So then you're surprised rather than being butthurt. Because
I've heard that since I was like 18.
That's how I feel right now. Like, this team I thought was going to be a lot better than it was. But the interesting thing for me is also think about free agency.
Yeah.
Things are going to happen. Like, I'm not saying Klay Thompson's
Kevin
coming
Durant.
Over. Anything. What free agent are you going to go after? I don't think Klay Thompson comes over. That's just how I feel right now. I don't think Kevin Durant joins LeBron. But, hey, I've been wrong before about Kevin Durant. He does whatever he feels like, and that's his choice to do. But, I mean, there's also free agency for it as well. So, I mean, there's a lot of moving pieces still with this Lakers, and I think it all bottles back to don't fire Luke Walton. Do not fire him because he is not the problem in L.A. Any final thoughts from you on this before we move on into our hometown Bulls?
Let's bring it back to the Bulls, baby.
This is where you guys come in. Let us know what you guys think are down below in the comment section. Laker fans, I know you are watching. I know we have a huge contingency, if I can get that word out of my mouth. Looking at the Alabama score here, 6-0 as we're recording this. But let us know what you guys think down below in that comment section.